to enter the dorsal horn, and it kind of has like two projections, two arms, two extensions,
Two termini.
two termini. Thank you. And one's going to innervate an interneuron, and one's going to innervate just a motor neuron cell body. Okay. These are all black. This is kind of confusing. Okay, so this is our motor neuron cell body. It's going to exit the ventral horn.
Okay, so the one on the right is the interneuron, and the one on the left is the motor neuron.
And this is the ventral root. And it goes through the ventral root. And then it's going to exit the anterior primary ramus also, coming out the same way it came in. And this is a positive, so it's going to innervate the hamstrings. That's okay. I'll wait.
Purple motor neuron going through ventral root, traveling all the way back outside the same side.
Okay. This interneuron is inhibitory. It's blocking, or it's inhibitory for acetylcholine.
So it will release an inhibitory signal onto that downstream somatic motor neuron, and therefore that somatic motor neuron will not fire an action potential onto the quads.
So this neuron is releasing acetylcholine, and this neuron is releasing nothing.
Correct.
Wait, so the
That's
the
why
motor
the
charge on the quads is negative, right?
Yeah, that's why it's negative. So which muscles are going to contract? Hamstrings.
So you can flex your lower leg. Exactly.
Cool. It's really cool. Okay.
So those are the ones that have the. Okay, so wait.
Wait, we have more.
Wait,
We have way
Hold
more.
on. Question?
So the motor neuron is releasing the acetylcholine.
Yeah, it either releases it or it doesn't.
Can you drive?
So
If
these
it
are both motor
releases it,
neurons.
then the muscle contracts.
Okay.
If it doesn't release it
Both
because
of
it's
them is
been
motor?
inhibited,
They're
then the
both
muscle
motor
stays
neurons, but
relaxed.
one is
The purple
activated.
one I'm green
Okay.
one.
Yeah,
The
they're both
upper
motor
motor
neurons.
neuron is the,
One
only,
has
the
an
one that always has
So
CCA.
it'll terminate
The one-
directly on the muscle, is that right?
What does, I'm sorry?
The, so the motor neuron, as it comes out, it will terminate directly onto.
Yes.
And the blue
Yes.
one?
Is that the
What
case
is the
for
blue?
both
Blue one
somatic
is sensory.
and autonomic?
Somatic terminates on skeletal muscle.
Yes.
Autonomic would terminate on involuntary effect.
Okay, alright.
You know, these neurons are there all the time. They were in place by week 4 as we were developing. So Sarah's drawing this green somatic motor neuron because it is there already in place. And she's drawing it to show it is there, but she's also drawing that the inner neuron would shut it down. Hyperpolarize, make it more negative, less likely to fire.
So it sends an inhibitory signal
The interneuron,
interneuron onto the downstream.
somatic motor neuron that she has drawn here in green.
Question?
Yes.
Somatic.
So when the sensory neuron innervates the motor neuron, that's what the first point, which is acetylcholine is released.
Are you talking about this direct synapse up here?
Yeah.
If you want to say acetylcholine was
Yeah.
released here, which also leads to acetylcholine being released here, that's fine
That's
with me.
okay, alright.
Can you drop little ACHs and cool stuff?
Yeah. So
Oh,
ACH is still being released here, but it's not being released
inhibitory neurotransmitter. Students sometimes ask me, what is an inhibitory neurotransmitter? I haven't asked you to learn these. I just want you to know if it's inhibitory, the downstream cell becomes more negative, won't reach threshold. But in case you want to fill that in, the most widely used inhibitory neurotransmitters in your body are GABA or glycine. Those are inhibitory. And when they bind to receptors on the downstream neuron, it hyperpolarizes them, makes them very, very negative. And that part you should understand. We learned about voltage-gated channels, and that the inside of the cell has to become less negative, more positive to get an action potential. An inhibitory neurotransmitter swings the inside of the cell more negative. You're shutting it down. Are you okay, Kathy?
Yeah.
You said we don't necessarily have to write.
You don't need to give me GABA or glycine, but students like Ashley like to have everything written out.
Okay.
To me, at this level, the idea of excitatory or inhibitory is all I'm going for. On a pure level, that means excitatory, closer to threshold, more likely to spike. Inhibitory, more negative, further away from threshold, shutting it down.
Should I continue?
Should, just in case Professor Huska's class starts to come in.
Okay.
We can always move to another classroom.
Okay, so we're gonna have the same on this side that's going to affect this leg. Not really the same, but same idea. Okay,
Sure. We're just gonna flip the signals to the different muscle groups, right? And on one side, the hamstrings contracted, and we had flexion of the leg. On the other side, we want to inhibit the hamstrings, but contract the quadriceps. So we get extension of the lower leg.
I missed everything I needed, sorry.
And the
I wrote it
opposite.
down. Okay.
Quadratic going to contraction and hamstring relax.
Are you still doing
So this is for the other leg.
cross?
This is the same, yes.
Okay, because what you showed me on here though is that though.
No,
So
it's
then-
not.
This reflection.
You're not, no. It's very similar. The two have a lot of overlaps, Ashley. But if you look very critically at what she's drawn here for your knee jerk, with a knee jerk, the output command should be that the lower leg extends, right? That's your knee jerk.
So did green negative for both,
Okay.
but one's gonna be the hamstring.
So in this one, we want the quads.
But it's
to
opposite.
contract.
Here is hamstring is going to
Okay,
be
so the
negative
here
relax
is
and
negative.
quadratic is going
Because
to
you
cross.
hurt your foot.
Okay.
Do you want to stick it out and step on the glass some more?
So,
So you want to withdraw your hurt leg.
So is that the only difference? The site of the receptor
Yeah,
and.
but look at the other leg. If you step on glass and you go, ow, don't you pull away the one that's hurt? But you have to stand on your other leg? I have never seen someone step on something sharp and then pull back both legs and fall on their back.
Makes sense. This
Have you
one
ever,
too.
have you ever stepped on a carpet tack? Never?
The only time I remember stepping on something, I put a pen through my toe.
So how did you respond to that? Did
I
you keep
grabbed my toe and hopped the rest of the way down the stairs.
So you were relying on the other leg
Yes.
to pick you up, right? Well, look at the other leg, see how it's straight? That's your other healthy leg where you didn't hurt it and it's supporting it. Okay?
if I drew this on the test, would I get an A?
You would.
I'm ready.
But you
But
can
only
keep,
for that section.
So
Oh, no, no, no.
this is knee jerk, which is similar to the cross.
I'm sure you get it.
similar with respect to you've got quads and hamstrings and these are opposing muscle
Negative
groups.
quadratic is
The leg, I thought that was for point two. So is this straight leg?
drawing, I'll get him started drawing over here.
So in straight leg, but green is for sensory, right? No.
No,
No,
green
that
in
was
this
blue.
case in her picture is a somatic motor.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I didn't have knee jerk.
So the green one is going to be one that has neurons that's not moving through neurons. What's the difference? What do you mean negative on the quad was negative on the other.
Yeah, because one of on your leg that got hurt on needs to lift it up. So your hamstring is the one that's taking your leg back.
I just mean, how does the,
And so your other leg, it has an opposite with it. So your other leg, your quads are your leg.
how does the neuron, or how does the neuron know?
Because like one's releasing acetylcholine, the other one is releasing acetylcholine inhibitor.
All cells have the same receptors? And, I mean, do all cells have everything that just no matter what's being inhibited or excited?
Yes, so for example,
into the ventral.
let's say you have a receptor for
Okay.
receptor for
Okay,
you have a receptor for
okay.
okay? And let's say your two classmates are stimulating you, exciting you.
Okay.
Ashley, you've got this. Ashley, you've got this. Ashley, you've got this. And let's say it's just me saying, no, you don't. No, you don't. You don't.
Okay.
You have to tally how many signals you're getting that are positive, excitatory, versus inhibitory. And how you behave depends on the number of signals you got for either excitatory or inhibitory. In these pictures, we're showing a one-to-one relationship, but in actuality, there are many interneurons that are bombarding that downstream somatic motor neuron. And when we draw it simply like this, we're drawing the neuron that's bringing that.
Okay.
Jim,
Yes,
how about you start with low blood pressure is the problem.
All right,
Oh, I got awkward.
so that would require a sympathetic response.
You're right.
To stimulate it again, to get
Yes,
it up.
you're right.
All right. So the sensory neuron goes to the brain.
Can you tell me where the receptors are in that picture? My very simplistic picture.
Could be in the medulla.
They are in the aortic arch.
Oh, in the aortic arch
The
here.
receptor.
The
Yes.
receptor.
What are those receptors called?
Baroreceptors.
Baroreceptors.
Okay, so baroreceptors are here. All right. So these go up to the brain.
Those action potentials are carried up to the brain by what nerve?
By, say that again?
Say it
But-
again. It's an afferent nerve, but you should know the name of this one. It is the vagus.
Yeah.
I have a question. I'm not right.
Vegas because it's close to stomach. Yeah, that's
Nerve, okay.
Why is that one going to the vascular system? Are you going with me? You're gonna stay with Jen?
I don't know, I need to know.
Let's see.
Christian, are you watching Jim for me? Yes. I'm going to iron out Ashley.
Of course not. Okay, so if the sensory nervous
Yeah. How about you?
This is the side where we stepped on something.
Okay.
So that's pain stimulus.
Right.
So the sensory comes up through the dorsal. You get it? And will synapse on many different neurons. The immediate problem is you've stepped on something. So there's a direct excitatory relay on the somatic motor neuron that innervates the hamstring. So you pull the relay back. There's also an interneuron where it's releasing inhibitory neurotransmitter on the somatic motor neuron that innervates your quads while you're trying to pull your. Yeah, you don't want to keep pushing it out.
These are kind of the things that there's extra feed coming up.
Yeah, you can have multiple terminal boutons.
So the same cell body where it's
Yeah.
functioning.
Hey, Christian.
This leg is also
Yes.
So help me here.
Yeah. Going through the.
Gene. Okay, so that's still the same cell body here, but then it's just crossing and
Yes.
exiting.
Alright,
So it's
so-
not entering.
It's not
Okay,
exiting.
because
The
I'm
motor
going
neuron
like this,
comes out
and I'm
of
thinking,
here.
why are you going
Yeah.
into the
No,
ventricle?
it's look, there's nothing.
He's drawing,
Out of here.
drawing the
This is
So
what
it
our.
comes out of the anterior
high
one
blood
through the
pressure or
anterior.
So we're just taking the same pain
Yeah.
response
Then
that
it
started
comes
here.
down here.
Yes.
That's the same cell body. That's simultaneously. Okay, so it's just.
So the gray
well,
ring,
this
this is the gray ring. So that should go through there.
Gotcha, it comes through the right ramus first. Would normally go through
When
the
you
gray
step on
ramus, like
something
how
that's
there's
gonna make
but
you
for
bleed,
sympathetic,
you
it
don't
just
wanna have
pops right
delay.
through. Sympathetic comes in.
So when would it come back? Why would it come back? Just for certain. Okay, alright. And then it comes out here. Now, I'm just trying to remember, does this have a long, is this the one?
So Jim and Christian, good job. One thing I see missing is a pre and post.
Yeah, so is it, I'm trying to remember, the shorter preganglion? So it would be here, so it would be here.
And then it breaks out. That second neuron breaks out the back door, as I like to say.
Okay, and then it comes up, so this is the short one, then the long.
Yes.
And then it, does it go directly to the heart, and then it releases the epinephrine here? Okay.
So what are we doing here?
When does it come up? This is what confuses me, is the
Okay.
white ramus and the gray ramus. When would it ever come up here?
If we wanted to go for involuntary vectors in the skin, then it would come out a gray level or gray ramus at level or higher or lower. But I already told you I'm not gonna go for reflex arcs for sweat.
Okay,
So
so,
you don't know what, was that his class?
It's 156.
Let me just, I'll be right back. Let me double check. I don't know if they have.
Jim, what's our criteria right now? What are we doing?
doing the heart sympathetic.
Okay.
So yeah, this is the blood pressure goes down,
Okay, this
so
is what.
sympathetic response.
So we want to increase heart rate.
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
Bob will come in when it's class time.
Yes.
It's okay. No, we're trying to
We're
prep
just-
for a big exam.
Oh, well, go
We're,
ahead.
no.
We have some time, I'm not in a rush.
It's okay, we're gonna move upstairs to the conference room, okay?
How you doing?
Hi, how are you? Good to see you.
I just never know if this is a day where you can start early or tell your class is coming later.
No.
I wait.